Introduction. Confessions of a Bipolar Prophet. Welcome to Mind Vibes. A cheeky welcome. Welcome, intrepid reader, to the strangest, truest, cheekiest thing I've ever made. A self-help book I wrote for me.
If it helps you too, brilliant. Pull up a lotus and a biscuit. If it doesn't, you'll still leave with cracking animal stories, a few belly laughs, and 10 tracks of ancient meets modern audio that can make your nervous system exhale in 3 languages and a wiggle.
This isn't polished theory from on high. I didn't write it for an audience. I wrote it for survival, for humor, for clarity, for the parts of me that refuse to be silenced, and somewhere along the way for the me I forgot how to be. So here we are, the Jacatan Mind, Ancient Tales, Modern Therapy, a rhythm of resilience, a mixtape of madness and mindfulness, a love letter to my inner zoo, the plot twist. I began mental health nurse training in 1995. We wore practical shoes, filled in paper notes, and considered instant coffee a therapeutic intervention. I've been at it ever since, through restructures, revolutions, and the timeless NHS pastime of inventing new acronyms for old problems. Then came 2018, the year the NHS and I had a conversation. The kind where the ceiling tiles start giving you advice. I unraveled or unfurled on generous days and received a diagnosis of bipolar disorder. Reality being a surrealist comedian, I only found out properly in 2019 when redacted notes got unredacted. Surprise, it's me. I'm the plot twist. This book is my reconciliation document, a peace treaty between my sensible nurse self and my gloriously mad human self. I'm stepping out of the cupboard labeled "Totally fine thanks," admitting I am a bipolar prophet, capital P optional, humor compulsory, and inviting you to join me. A short history of me as a Jataka that forgot it wasn't one. Once upon a time, in a hospital built from fluorescent lights and pure chutzpah, lived a nurse with an inner zoo. By day, the elephant in them remembered every care plan. By night, the monkey wrote 47 to-do lists and knitted anxiety into a scarf. For years, the nurse managed the jungle by sheer affection and stationery. Then one summer the storm arrived. Proper mood lightning, thought Thunder, and the nurse collapsed like a tent held up by optimism and one slightly heroic paperclip. A wise turtle, the GP said.
We rest.
A noble buffalo, the psychiatrist said.
We stay.
The hospital said.
We support you. Terms and conditions applied.
The nurse learned that madness and competence are not enemies. Sometimes they're the same magic trick. They learned shame can be composted into stories that grow trees you can sit under. Eventually, the nurse stepped onto stages, conference halls, classrooms, staff rooms, and said the quiet thing out loud. People laughed, people cried, people queued to say, "Me too." Thus the nurse became a reluctant prophet with a day job, and eventually with a TikTok account. The gods have range. What on earth is this book? It's a self-help concept for me, field-tested on me, shared with you. A manual disguised as a storybook, the Jataka tales, Buddha's past lives as animals, turned into modern X-rays, deer for empathy, jackal for anger, turtle for rest, buffalo for ballast, monkey for all your tabs. A therapy companion, CBT reframes, mindfulness that doesn't gaslight your feelings. Parts work with animals because calling your inner critic Kevin the Jackal is surprisingly effective. A mixtape with benefits. 10 tracks you can use for breathwork, mindful walking, or just not opening that email yet. A reconciliation between clinician and patient, science and story, crisis and meaning. A love letter to anyone told they were too much by people who were not enough at the time. It's not a guidebook, it's a survival story told in metaphor, one that doesn't end with happily ever after, but with something better. I came back to myself and brought all my parts with me. Meet the cast, they already live in you. The Inner Zoo trademark pending, by which I mean not at all. Monkey, restless mind, spreadsheet addict, panic in a bow tie. Elephant, core self, ancient memory, sacred strength, walks, doesn't flail. Jackal, protector with teeth, gets loud when you abandon yourself. Deer, sensor and empath, feels emails before they're sent. Turtle, avoidant introvert, wins bedtime, loses WhatsApp. Buffalo, equanimity, stands in rain and calls it weather. Bird, voice of truth, blurts it when it matters. Tree, resilience, sways, doesn't snap. Snake, anxiety, can uncoil, keeps the fangs, drops the bite. They will all appear in these pages, sometimes noble, sometimes neurotic. None of them are villains. Each has a lesson. The album, aka 10 portable shrines. Each chapter is paired with a track, an audio practice masquerading as a banger for introverts. 1. The monkey who waited. Attention reset. Wave at thoughts. Stop adopting them. 2. The elephant who forgave. Self-compassion with a spine. Close the day without flogging yourself. 3. The jackal's lament. Anger without arson. Heat is holy. Aim it kindly. 4. The turtle beneath the sea. Sleep ritual. Screens to bed elsewhere. 5. The deer in the wind. Sensitivity as accuracy. Widen, don't brace. 6. The buffalo who stayed. Grounding. 10. Slow steps. Bow once. 7. The bird that sang truth. Assertiveness in 7 words. Speak on the exhale. 8. The tree in the storm. Resilience equals sway. Witness, don't wrestle. 9. The snake's gentle way. Anxiety uncoils. Hiss the exhale. Keep the grace. 10. The fire and the river. Closure. Bless the burn. Follow the flow. Use them. Healing that never reaches the body is just a TED Talk with jazz hands. House Rules, Jungle Edition. 1. Humor and honesty travel together. We will laugh but never minimize pain. 2. Self-awareness, not self-diagnosis. Use the ideas, keep your GP. 3. All animals welcome, even the jackal, especially the jackal. 4. Boundaries equals compassion with a spine. 7-word sentences are sacred. 5. Small steps count. 3 minutes is a revolution. A note to myself, and maybe to you. Dear me, you've been to hell and back and still held the pen. You're not here to be someone else's definition of recovered. You're here to be fully you, even if that self is still learning, still slipping, still grooving through the chaos. Dear reader, if you found this, maybe you've got your own monkey. Maybe you've been silenced like the bird. Maybe you're just looking for a rhythm that makes sense. If so, welcome. You don't need to be cured, you need to be heard, especially by yourself. Final flirtation. Recovery with rhythm. Here's my promise. I'll give you scripts, not sermons. Practices you can do in a stairwell. Stories that sneak past your armor, and music that convinces your shoulders they deserve a holiday. Here's your promise. Say it out loud if you dare. Whisper it if you're on the bus.
For 1 week, I'll try the tiny things and see what shifts.
Now, kettle on. Monkey to the cushion. Buffalo to the door. Turtle's already in pajamas. Press play. Turn the page. Let's begin the most outrageous thing either of us has done this week. Be gentle on purpose.